Welcome back. Thank you for staying with News Desk. We continue bringing you up to speed with the latest developments, which are set to play out in the course of the day. Of course, key focus on the three-judge bench ruling that is set to be rendered at around 2:30 p.m., touching on the embattled impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. We are set to know in 1 hour or so if the conservatory orders barring the swearing in of Professor Kithure Kindiki will be lifted or not. If so, what's the legal consequence? If not, what does that mean? That's why I'm joined in studio by a legal mind who will help us shed light on the matters at hand. I'm joined in studio by Manasseh Tunen, who's an advocate of the High Court. Manasseh, thank you so much for your time and karibu to our studios.
Thank you very much for your invite also, Jesse.
Yes.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And this is a time where every Kenyan tries to tap into their legal minds, because that's common narrative that Kenyans, they know the Constitution, you know, especially at times like this. So we definitely need your impartial analysis on the issues that might play out. A little bit earlier on, we had just played some graphics on the possible outcomes in this particular verdict that we expect at around 2:30 by the three judges.
Yes.
Number one, they could lift the conservatory orders, therefore giving Kithure Kindiki the go-ahead to be sworn in as the deputy president. Equally, the courts could actually decide to uphold the National Assembly preliminary objection on jurisdiction. The effect of that would be to strike out all cases and automatically vacate the conservatory order. The third option being a court assuming jurisdiction and lifting that order, which could pave the way for the swearing in of Kindiki, but with the potential of a future upset if Rigathi Gachagua's complaints are ultimately upheld. From a legal perspective, what do you foresee playing out in the next 1 hour or so, bearing in mind the arguments by the respondents in this particular case?
Thank you for that question. I think the possible scenarios are the ones that you've already mentioned, but I didn't hear you mention one other possible scenario. Because, you know, the courts can also assume jurisdiction and do not vacate the orders. They can extend the conservatory orders until the petition is heard and determined. So that is another possibility, because the Constitution provides for 60 days within which the deputy president nominate should be sworn in. So there's that chance, because you've only played the chances that the deputy president the deputy president nominated will be sworn in. But as you said, the first possibility, because the National Assembly, together with the advocate for Professor Kithure Kindiki, that is Muthomi Diankolu, made an application that the court do not have jurisdiction to hear and determine this matter, that being the High Court, whether it's one judge or the empanel three judges, do not have jurisdiction. Because his argument was that the Constitution did not anticipate that the High Court will have the jurisdiction to hear this matter, because he even made a comparison with the Nixon case in the United States, or impeachment case. He also made a comparison with the issue of presidential elections, because when there's a dispute concerning the presidential election, that automatically goes to the Supreme Court. This, I think, in the minds of the drafters of the Constitution, was that to shorten the period within which these hearings are done and conducted. Because you see the presidential election disputes, the court or the Constitution provides timelines within which these disputes must be resolved. So it was the design of the Constitution that matters touching on the presidency, or the presidency for that matter, should be concluded within the shortest period possible. But now, looking at what is happening, we have the High Court.
Yes.
After the High Court, we have two appellate courts that matters can be appealed to. We have the Court of Appeal, and also we have the Supreme Court, if the party is not satisfied with the decision of the court below. So I think the court can assume jurisdiction and vacate the orders. The court can assume jurisdiction and extend the orders. And the court might say, we do not have jurisdiction to hear this matter, and that is the end of those petitions.
Okay, it's interesting. And this is just the start of this lengthy legal battle. Just kindly play it for our audience in terms of what exactly we expect with those likely scenarios, because we've equally seen Gachagua's legal team head to the Court of Appeal, trying to appeal that decision on the Deputy Chief Justice, empaneling the 3-judge bench. What other steps can we see play out? And equally, if I can compound that question with this, in case the courts decide to lift the conservatory orders, giving the swearing in the go-ahead, what exactly will happen thereafter when the courts decide, you know what, Rigathi Gachagua had a proper case and we will rule in his favor?
Yes. What will happen in the event that the court lifts the conservatory orders? That will pave the way, as you've said, for the swearing in of Professor Kithure Kindiki. But if you followed keenly on the case of Kisii Deputy Governor, and this is was the decision by Justice Onkwan, and this was emphasized by Professor Tom Ojenda during his submissions on this subject the last time. You know, he said, you know, it is not lost. You still have the avenues of being compensated in an array of issues, because the court, you know, this is an issue that you can seek for compensation. Number two,
financial, not necessarily
financial compensation, and also as you've seen in the case of Wajir governor, the court made a decision that the governor goes back to the office. So there is that possibility. You cannot rule. So and this decision to lift the conservatory orders do not terminate the case. The petition has not been heard in its merits. That is to determine whether the impeachment was proper or not. So I think if the court vacates the order, the conservatory orders, the case will proceed to its conclusion. And the conclusion will now inform what decision will be made by then. If the court is of the opinion that Kithure Kindiki, the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was improperly impeached and should be ordered to go back to office, that is a decision that will be made by court then. But that will be there to be seen. We cannot tell at the moment, because now that will be played during the petition, the hearing of the petition itself. But I think, and as has been put by most advocates, that you know, the court should not be considered, consider much on the merits of the impeachment or the processes that were carried out in the National Assembly and the Senate. What the court should be concerned about most is the process that was used to impeach the Deputy President. So, and this, as was put also by Professor Githu Muigai, is what we call the political question doctrine.
Okay, and I just want to expound briefly on that political question doctrine. Well, unfortunately, I'm being told our time is up. But in 10 seconds or so, in terms of that political doctrine and how it might play out, are we likely to see Rigathi Gachagua continue pushing within the corridors of justice?
Yes, that is what I think I will see. Rigathi Gachagua will push to the end. He still has to appellate jurisdiction or appellate courts. I see him pushing to the end.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it's the start of a lengthy journey. Remember, this conversation continues at exactly 2 p.m. Manasseh will stick around to continue giving us his take on the issues that are playing out within Milimani law courts in regards to that case touching on the embattled deputy president, impeached deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Later on, we'll be joined by Ishmael Nyaribo as well. But you know, as the saying goes, justice must be done, but must also be seen to be done. We'll be here to see if justice is not only done, but to see if it's seen to be done, you know. My name is Jesse Rogers. Good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. I'll see you at exactly 2 p.m. right here on KTN.